Close your eyes for a moment, and let me take you back through the centuries to a city perched between heaven and earth. Edinburgh, in the 1700s, was a place unlike any other, a city of contrasts, of light and shadow, where the medieval past clung stubbornly to the present, even as the winds of Enlightenment began to blow through its ancient wynds and closes. Picture, if you will, a grey morning in 1750. The Har, that peculiar Edinburgh mist that rolls in from the Forth, wraps itself around the towering tenements of the old town like a damp woolen blanket. These buildings, some rising 10 or 11 stories high, were marvels of their age, yet they housed everyone from aristocrats in the middle floors to the poorest families crowded beneath the eaves. In this vertical city, social classes lived literally on top of one another, sharing the same stone staircases, breathing the same smoky air. The day begins early here. Before first light, the night soil men make their rounds, collecting the waste that residents have tossed from their windows with the traditional cry of Gardy-loo, a corruption of the French Gardy-loo, or watch out for the water. Though water was hardly what it was. The old cobblestones gleam with last night's rain, at least washing away some of the filth that is an inescapable part of city life. The air carries the acrid smell of coal smoke, human waste, and in the distance, the tang of the sea. As dawn breaks over Arthur's Seat, the city begins to stir in earnest. Shop shutters clatter open along the high street. Merchants arrange their wares, everything from fine French wines smuggled past the excise men to locally made goods, pewter plates, woolen cloth dyed in soft heathers and deep blues, leather goods tooled by craftsmen whose fathers and grandfathers worked these same streets. The caddies, those street-smart guides and odd job men who know every corner of Edinburgh, are already at their posts, ready to escort visitors through the labyrinthine closes or carry messages between the town and the fashionable new town beginning to rise to the north. These fellows possess an encyclopedic knowledge of the city's inhabitants and their business, making them invaluable to strangers and residents alike. Listen to the sounds of the morning. Church bells peal from St. Giles Cathedral, their bronze voices echoing off the stone buildings. Street criers call out the news of the day, proclamations from the town council, advertisements for lost dogs or stolen goods, notices of public hangings at the grass market. Water sellers trudge up the steep closes, their cries of "Water! Fresh water!" punctuating the morning air. Fresh is, perhaps, a generous description, as it comes from public wells that aren't always as clean as one might hope. In the taverns and houffs along the Canongate, last night's revellers are just stumbling home, while early risers take their morning dram of whiskey or ale. Yes, ale for breakfast, a safer choice than water in an age when public sanitation is rudimentary at best. These establishments are the beating heart of Edinburgh's social life. Here, advocates and merchants, poets and philosophers, fishwives and cobblers all mingle together, the rigid class distinctions of the outside world softened somewhat by shared drink and conversation. As the morning progresses, the professional classes emerge. Advocates in their dark robes hurry toward Parliament House, where the Court of Session sits. Despite the union with England in 1707, Scotland retains its own legal system, and Edinburgh remains its judicial heart. These learned men, many educated at the city's university or on the continent, carry with them an air of importance, their wigs powdered, their shoes buckled with silver. The women of Edinburgh are everywhere, working tirelessly. In the Luckin booths, those narrow shops built against the side of St. Giles, shopkeepers' wives tend their businesses, haggling with customers over the price of ribbons or buttons. In the grand houses along the Canongate, ladies of quality are attended by their maids, dressing in the elaborate fashions that require patience and assistance to don properly. And in the closes and wynds, working women scrub steps, haul water, mind children, and somehow keep their families alive on wages that barely stretch from week to week. Down at the port of Leith, Edinburgh's gateway to the world, ships arrive bringing luxuries from across the globe: tobacco from Virginia, sugar from the Caribbean, tea from the Orient, wine from France and Portugal. The customs house is busy, officials scrutinizing cargo and collecting duties. Sailors from foreign lands walk these streets, bringing tales of distant ports and strange lands. Their presence, a reminder that Edinburgh, for all its isolation perched on the edge of Scotland, is connected to a wider world. By midday, the city is at its busiest. The fish market is a riot of sound and smell, as fishwives from Newhaven and Fisherow cry out their wares: fresh haddock, mackerel, oysters pulled from the Forth that very morning. These women are legendary, known for their sharp tongues and sharper business sense. Cross them at your peril, for they fear no man, be he duke or dustman. In the afternoon, if the weather permits, fashionable society takes its promenade. Ladies and gentlemen walk along the high street, seeing and being seen. This is important business in a city where reputation is everything. A young lady's prospects of marriage, a merchant's creditworthiness, a lawyer's chance of advancement, all depend on one's standing in this tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone else's business. The city's famous coffee houses and taverns fill with Edinburgh's intellectual elite. This is the age of the Scottish Enlightenment, and nowhere is it more evident than in these gathering places. David Hume might be holding forth on philosophy in one corner, while Adam Smith discusses political economy in another. Alan Ramsay's poetry is quoted, and talk turns to the latest works of literature, to science, to the improvement of agriculture, to the very nature of mankind and society. Edinburgh may be small, but the ideas being born here will change the world. As evening approaches, the city takes on a different character. Lamplighters make their rounds, though the light they provide is feeble against the gathering darkness. The respectable retreat indoors, for the streets after dark belong to a rougher crowd. Watchmen patrol, calling out the hours and the weather. 10 o'clock and a cold, clear night. Their lanterns bob like fireflies through the darkness. Yet for all its dangers, the night has its own magic. In the grand houses, candles and firelight create islands of warmth and conviviality. Dinner parties stretch late into the evening, with multiple courses and much wine. Music and conversation flow freely. The claret, as the Scots call their beloved French red wine, circulates until the early hours, and many a grand philosophical theory has been born over such dinners, fortified by good company and better wine. In humbler dwellings, families gather around their hearths. Peat fires glow, filling the room with their distinctive earthy smoke. Stories are told, old ballads sung. Children fall asleep to the same tales their grandparents heard, of Kelpies and Selkies, of Robert the Bruce and William Wallace, of the old days before the Union when Scotland stood alone. The wealthy might attend the theatre or a concert. Edinburgh's cultural life is flourishing, and music from the latest Italian operas might be heard alongside traditional Scottish airs. The assembly rooms see elegant balls where the young and hopeful dance the minuet and country dances, their careful steps and graceful movements a world away from the rough jigs and reels of the common folk. As midnight approaches, a strange quiet falls over the old town. Only the watch remains, their boots echoing on the cobblestones. The great castle on its volcanic rock looks down on the sleeping city, as it has for centuries, a constant reminder of Edinburgh's turbulent past, of sieges and battles, of plots and counterplots, of the weight of history that presses down on every stone. But even as the city sleeps, change is coming. To the north, the new town is beginning to rise, planned, spacious, elegant. It represents a new vision of city life, far removed from the cramped medieval closes of the old town. Some see it as progress, others as a betrayal of Edinburgh's ancient character. The debate will continue for decades, even as the city transforms around them. This was Edinburgh in the 1700s, a city of contradictions, where brilliant minds wrestled with eternal questions in taverns reeking of tobacco and spilled ale, where nobles and paupers shared the same narrow streets, where the Enlightenment and the medieval existed side by side. It was dirty and disease-ridden, yet it produced some of the finest minds of the age. It was provincial, yet cosmopolitan. It was, in short, entirely itself, unique, stubborn, proud, and utterly unforgettable. The Edinburgh of the 1700s is gone now, swept away by time and progress. Yet traces remain in the bones of the old town, in the closes that still bear their ancient names, in the stories passed down through generations. And perhaps, on a grey morning when the Har rolls in from the Forth, if you stand quietly on the Royal Mile and listen carefully, you might just hear the echoes of that vanished world, the cry of the fishwives, the ring of church bells, the clatter of hooves on cobblestones, the endless, fascinating symphony of life in Scotland's ancient capital.